in your mind's eye and how you thought about entrepreneurship from the outside looking in, it always, especially for a successful brand and company, it always looks very shiny and bright. But obviously there's costs and risks and setbacks to deal with. And what lessons have you maybe learned when it comes to resilience in the iterative process and building the brand and going through that, where behind the scenes, it's been a lot of hard work and a lot of real hardship in some ways. Can you reflect a little bit on that?
Absolutely. You know, it is very true. And I think entrepreneurs are having this moment in the limelight, you know, female founders, especially, where it feels like this very glamorous journey, because we get to do things like this and these podcasts and
right. The
channels.
height of glamour, by the way.
But it's behind the scenes, it's a very messy, difficult process. And I think the part that really that I've found, that I've shared with other entrepreneurs, and I'll share now, is it really comes back to the intention as to why you're doing it. And if your intention is set to be on the glamorous side of it, then you probably shouldn't do it, right? It's really about having clarity about your goal with it. And if you keep clarity on that goal, you will also know when you're successful. Because that's also something that becomes very unclear. It's like, when have I reached success? And you, with entrepreneurship and a startup, you can always keep going. Right. Yeah, and not to say that once you've hit that milestone, you don't keep going. Yeah. But to take a moment to pause and celebrate that for yourself is a really important part of the process as well. So I think having a clear intention as to why you're doing it, that's meaningful to you during the process of doing it, is important. Yeah. And then defining a success milestone for yourself is also important. So for me, it was about building something from nothing, right? Could I take an idea and start from, you know, it wasn't the idea itself, don't fall in love with the idea, but what's going to happen in the execution that makes it something different? And that's how you were able to, how I was able to get behind something that was entering in a very saturated space, right? There was no shortage of handbags and tops and dresses in the world, right? So how was I going to derive meaning from that? And it was really about differentiating it and making something for a woman that she didn't have. And so discovering what that was, messaging it to her, evolving the line until it reached that point where I was proud of it, is what bookend at least those first two questions for me in the journey.